My name is Naseegh Jaffer. I'm from Cape Town in South Africa, and there I've been working with fishing communities for decades. My grandfather himself he was a small-scale fisher, and I am currently the General Secretary of the World Forum of Fisher People. It is a movement of about 40 of small-scale fisher organizations in about 40 different countries in many different corners of the world. In fact, on all the main continents. And WFFP is about firstly creating solidarity amongst small-scale fishers in the different cultural context, in the different social context, and in the different economic context. But more importantly, other than solidarity, what we do is to try and create a framework globally that will bring equity and justice to small-scale fishing communities, so that fishing is not being overpowered by the industrial and commercial fishing practices. You see, it is important for us to be here because the struggle and aspirations of small-scale fishing communities is for the right to access the natural environment, to access the sea, in order to obtain food and in order to govern where the food comes from, how the food is being caught, and where it goes. That is the same struggle that La Via goes through. La Via's struggle is about seeds and farming and harvesting. So it is the same issue. So there's convergence, and it's essentially about food sovereignty. Not just food security, that's a different issue. Food sovereignty is about being able to have control over how you produce food, what food you produce, and the method and accountability and democratic practices that goes with it. These are the same struggles. So these struggles come together. And it is our view that we have to work at a global level. We have to work with movements who has the same desire, the same aspiration, the same political objective. And that is why we are here. We're just two different spaces, but we come together. And moments like this is an illustration of that kind of unity for us. The first key bond, the first key glue is to understand how people connect with the environment and with the practices, with the harvesting and food production practices. There we have to have a similarity. That has to bind us. I think a second element has to be a strong belief in human rights. So that we aspire towards the protection and the development of all human beings. And we have a right, human beings and people have a right, doesn't matter where you are and which part of the food processes or food production process you find yourself. You have to protect the right of the people who are active in it. And I believe that within La Via, our struggles for women's rights and women's equity, our struggle for the right to food, our struggle for human dignity, and our struggle for economic development and income, all of that are key elements that bind us. And I think without those things, there would be no kind of cooperation. But I think we are lucky, in the current period, we have that. So we're in a good space.